is Gayle Jann, and I'm going to guide you through a short yoga practice to help you open up your hamstrings, quads, all different parts of your body to make you feel really good for the day. So let's start in a comfortable seated position. Make sure that your sit bones are pressing into the floor so you can take the inner thighs and rotate them back. If your back is rounding, you can always take a blanket and sit up on the blanket to help tilt your pelvis forward if that's more comfortable for you. So sit up nice and tall, and first we'll just take 3 deep breaths, just opening up the body with the breath. So inhale, breathe until the breath is all the way up into the upper chest, and exhale, just let everything softly release. Inhale again, taking the breath nice and full out to the sides, and exhale, let your skin soften. One more time. Inhale, breathe up nice and full. This is about where your shoulders should sit. Exhale, soften, let the shoulders stay nice and lifted. And you can, we'll go into cat-cow, so you can either stay in a seated position, and inhale, bring your chest forward, shoulders, head go back, exhale, round forward. Or you can come onto your hands and knees. Again, we just want to get the spine moving. So on the inhalation, the belly draws down. On the exhalation, the belly draws up and in. So you're really trying to change the shape of your spine from concave to convex. Lifting up your head and tailbone on the inhalation, letting your neck and shoulders release on the exhalation. Just do that a couple more times, really feeling the spine move nice and easy. And then step back to downward facing dog. So in down dog, just begin to bend one knee at a time, slowly, really stretching the other heel to the floor so you can get into the calves. Keep the arms strong with the armpits lifted so you don't have a lot of weight in your hands. You should actually even be able to lift up the heels of your hands. You want your arms that strong. If your back is rounding, bend your knees until you can get your back nice and long. And then you keep that action of the inner thighs moving back and begin to scoop your tailbone. If the back starts to round, then you keep your knees a little bent. If you can, you stretch all the way heels to the floor. Take a big breath here, breathe into the back so there's a lightness through your spine. And walk your feet forward to your hands. Place your feet hip width apart and parallel, lift and spread your toes to activate the legs. Make sure you're not hyperextending in the knees, so if you feel a pull in the back of your knees, just bend your knees until that goes away. Bow forward. Hold your elbows and just let the weight of the head lengthen the upper back and the neck. You can sway a little bit from side to side. And bring your hands to your hips, press the feet down into the floor, and lift your chin, pull the elbows back, inhale, rise up. Exhale, release the hands. Inhale, stretch up, nice and tall. Exhale, let the arms float down. Inhaling, stretch up again. Bring the back of the hands together if you can, or leave the hands apart. On your exhalation, stretch your arms over to the right. Keep rooting down through that left leg. And lift up through the ribs so you get a big stretch all the way into your legs even. Inhale, stretch back up to center. Exhale, over to the left. Really rooting down through that right leg, lengthening through the right side body. Inhale, back up. Bring your left elbow in front, reach the right arm around. Take a big breath here, lift the elbows up, press the hands away. And breathe into your back so you get a nice stretch in the back of your shoulders. Inhale, lift the elbows up, release the arms, and wrap the other direction. So your hands can be back to back if your shoulders are really tight, or the forearms together. Don't let the elbows drop, but lift the elbows up. Breathe into your back to really stretch out the shoulders. Inhale, reach the arms out, and exhale, bow forward. Inhale, lift from your belly and lengthen through your spine. You can bring your hands to your shins, or you can keep your hands on the floor. It will depend on how tight your hamstrings are. Exhale, bow. Walk your feet back to plank. So plank is one of those challenging poses that if you don't use your core, everything's gonna sag and it's gonna feel terrible. So you lift up through the core, hug the legs in, puff up in the back, and soften the back between the shoulder blades. So your back should really look like a plank. Then keeping that action, inhale, lift your hips up, stretch up really tall on your toes, and keep that length as you stretch back to down dog. You can adjust the position of your feet to what feels good for you. Stretch up nice and long, squeeze your upper arms in until you feel the muscles red underneath your armpits fire up. Exhaling, tuck your tailbone, curl the belly and come forward to plank. Keep your gaze forward on the floor as you exhale, lower through chaturanga onto the floor. Untuck your toes, press the top of the feet into the floor, hug the shins in, lengthen the tailbone down so the belly lifts a little bit, lift the shoulders up. Inhale, curl into cobra. So cobra's not a hanging pose, it's an active pose. You're active in your back and your core. The chest should be forward of your shoulders. Exhale, lower down. Tuck your toes, press back to downward facing dog. Take a breath here, just settle into down dog. Inhale and lift your right leg up. Exhale, bend your knee, round your back. Give your knee a kiss. Inhale, stretch it back out, spreading the toes. Exhale, pull the belly in, hug the knee in. Inhale, stretch out. And this is a secret to coming forward smoothly. You really pull the leg in, lift through the back, come up on your fingertips, place your foot. So take a moment to firm the legs, and then from your belly, from your back, inhale, curl up. Exhale, make sure that your knee is right over the ankle and in line with your toes. So no caving in. Keep the leg nice and strong. Exhale, lower your hands down, lower the back knee down. Straighten your front leg for a hamstring stretch. So you don't want the hands forward or back, you want them right under the shoulders. Firm the front leg, especially if you feel a pull in the back of your knee, lift the kneecap, send your hips back. This could be a good time to use blocks if you're really tight. So if you're super tight, you're going to be like this, and you want to lengthen the spine so the extra height of the blocks helps that. And shift your hips from side to side. Yummy. Get into all three hamstrings. Can you feel it? There's an inner hamstring, middle hamstring, and an outer hamstring. So come back to your low lunge. Bring your forearms to the floor, or if that's too much, you can bring it to one block or even two blocks. You want to be able to be somewhat comfortable here at the same time finding a challenge. So you can move your hips from side to side. Just to get into all different little areas of the stretch. Then come back, bring hands to either side of the front foot. Press back to down dog. Feel the difference. Inhale, lift the left leg up. Exhale, bend the knee and give it a kiss. Inhale, stretch out. Exhale, hug it and kiss. Inhale, stretch it all the way out, bring it all the way through. For a high lunge, firm the legs, lift the shoulders, lift the belly. Inhale, reach up. Again, check out the front knee, that's so important. Lift up a little bit higher if you can through your ribs and the fingertips. And exhale, lower your hands to the floor, lower the back knee to the floor. Straighten your front leg here, hamstring stretch. Again, shift the hips from side to side. Getting into all three hamstrings. Keeping the foot nice and engaged. So the foot moves because the hip moves. You don't want to move your foot, it's just the hips. Come back into your low lunge, forearms to the floor. Take a couple breaths here. And then step back to down dog. Get a nice long stretch. Exhale, come forward to plank. Keep the gaze forward, chest forward as you lower down. Release the toes, curl up cobra. Exhale, lower, and we'll do a little core work by doing a forearm plank. So you come onto your forearms. You want the elbows directly under the shoulders, not forward or back, not too wide, right underneath. Interlace your fingers, and then you gotta pull the belly up, firm the legs. You can do it from your knees if you're just working on building strength initially, so everything's hugging in, or you can lift the knees off the floor. Again, you don't want to sag or lift up too high. It's keeping everything right in a line, and you'll feel the core heating up. Yeah. So you breathe here. You may tremble a little bit, but keep pulling that belly up. Keep filling up in the back. Keep moving the heart forward. Stay with your breath. Use the power of your breath. A couple more breaths here. This helps build strength in the shoulders as well. Good. Exhale, lower down. Release your toes. Bring your right arm so it's parallel to your body. Bend your left knee. Reach back. Hold your left foot. So this quad stretch is accessible to most people. Press your knee down and draw it forward a little bit. Press your foot into your hand. And gradually begin to bring your heel towards your hip without letting the knee slide out. So the knee keeps hugging in and down. The heel comes closer to the hip. If you want, you could maybe even rotate your hand. And then pulse in the stretch. So when you find your edge, you don't want to go past it. You don't want to stay there too long or your body will tense up. Release the foot, same thing, other side. So keep hugging into the midline. Keep lifting the belly. Keep the feet active and keep the knee pressing down. Down and in. And then release the stretch. And press back to downward facing dog. Take a couple of breaths here. Maybe breathe into your back, stretching it out. Inhale, lift the right leg up. Exhale, open up the hip. Stretch your foot towards the floor. Inhale, rotate the hip back. Bring the leg forward for pigeon prep. So place your foot down first, engage your foot, then lower your knee. That should protect your knee. So if you're tight in the hips, like most people, you can have your heel closer to your hip. If you know you're really open, you're more advanced, you can bring the leg forward. But that's pretty intense. Pretty intense for me. So with the heel back, you want to rotate the back inner thigh up, hug the legs in, reach the arms up. If there's any pain in your back, scoop the tailbone more or don't lift the arms. Exhale, bring the hands down, walk the hands forward, keeping the legs active. And your arms can be either in a down dog position or in a cactus position to help really open the shoulders, or in a more relaxed position. The key thing is to keep the legs active, hugging in. Don't just let everything sink and relax. So you're hugging the legs in towards each other, pulling the right hip back and letting the left hip come forward. And then breathe into that stretch. Breathe into the intensity. Inhale back up. Press back to down dog splits. Again, open up the hips or rotate on the outside edge of the back, on the lower the back heel down, and open up into wild thing. Come on back. Lower the leg down, same thing other side. Inhale the left leg up. Exhale, open up through the hips, get a big opening. And bring the leg all the way through for pigeon prep. Place the foot down first. Lower the knee down carefully, keep the legs active. Maybe stretch back in the back leg, hug in, reach up. And exhale, bow forward, your choice of arms. Keep the shoulders nice and lifted, the back full, the legs hugging in. And just make any little adjustments that feel good to you. Should feel a big stretch right in that outer hip of the front leg. So breathe into any tightness, and on your exhalation, let it go. Come on back up. Press back to down dog. Take a couple breaths here, getting a nice long stretch. And then hop or walk your feet to your hands. Inhale to a flat back. Exhale, bow. Bend the knees, come into a deep squat. With the knees open to the side. Stretch your arms forward, hips go back. Stretch out that back. Lower the hips gently to the floor. Soles of the feet together for Baddha Konasana. So again, here you can use your blanket if you need some height. Main thing is you don't want collapsing through your pelvis. So the pelvis lifts up and forward. Take a big breath in to lengthen through the spine. The belly's always drawing back. Not so hard that you can't breathe, but so there's a tone. And begin to bow forward. Maybe your forward fold is to here, and that's fine. Maybe over time you gradually go deeper. Listen to your breath. And take it as deep as you can comfortably. Being honest with yourself, listening to your body. And keep the shoulders lifted so the chest is open. Not scrunching back, but just not letting everything drop forward. Just play with being that awareness of the open chest, open shoulders. Inhale back up. Straighten your right leg out, bring your left leg across. So your knees are stacked on top of each other, your left heel's by your right hip. Press out through the bottom foot, inhale, lift up. And exhale, stretch. Keep rooting this bottom hip down and stretch over to the side. So you can actually use this hand to press into this bottom hip and then really get a nice stretch. And you can come forward and open up, and you'll find you get a stretch in different places. Then bring your hand all the way to the floor. Walk forward, a little forward fold here, so you may have to back off a little bit. Just play with it. And from here, open your knee apart, and you may want to stay here, placing the hands on the foot and the knee and bow forward. That'll get you to this hip. Or if you're more open, you can bend the bottom knee. So you stack, the knees and the feet are right on top of each other. This foot doesn't stay back, it stays forward. This foot super active, both feet super active to protect the knees. Again, you can place the hands on the feet, press in, and begin to bow forward. Keep rooting through the tailbone, lengthening through the shoulders. Inhale back up and switch sides. So from here, the knees stack, the heel is near the hip. Inhale, lift up. And exhale, stretch. You want to root, really keep this hip rooted so you can lift up and stretch across. And again, you can play with just a little bit of movement, like a bowing and an opening. You can either come forward on the floor or come up and begin to bow forward. Again, keep a wideness through the shoulders, through the back. Inhale back up. Either the knee comes out and this is where you stay, or the bottom foot comes under as well. Again, one of the most important things is to keep the feet active. If you have any twerking or pain in your knee, you come out of the pose. It's really important. Begin to bow forward. Try and square the hips as much as you can so you can use your hands to help even the hips. Try and keep the back open and broad. Inhale back up. Stretch the legs out. And make your way onto your back, please. Hug your knees into your chest and rock from side to side. We'll do a little twist here, so place the feet on the floor. Lift and shift your hips over to the left. Straighten your right leg out. Open the arms to the side. And on an exhalation, lower your left knee over to the right. Try and keep the left shoulder pinned down. It's going to want to come up. So most people will not be able to keep their shoulder down and get their knee down. So you just kind of play with that. Try to lengthen this whole side of your body. Energetically drawing your heel towards your hip, towards your foot, your bottom foot. And then with your breath, with every exhalation, maybe you go a little deeper into the twist without forcing it. You're just listening to your body. Inhale back up here. Place the feet, lift and shift your hips to the other side. Straighten the left leg, exhaling, twist to the left. Try to keep this right shoulder down. You can gaze over to the right. Breathe here. So we always want to keep some kind of foundation, and we want to be able to soften from there. Inhale back up to center. Place your feet hip width apart. Lift and shift your hips till they're right centered between your shoulders. Bend your elbows. Keep the side body long, shoulders pressing into the floor, fingertips facing up. Press down into your feet. Inhale, lift the hips up. So the more you press down through the shoulders and the feet, the higher you can lift your hips. Don't let your neck flatten. Keep a little lift of your chin so there's a curve, a gentle curve in the back of your neck. Take a breath here. Press the feet down. Pull the heels in towards your hips. When you exhale, slowly lower down, starting from the upper back. One vertebrae at a time, lengthening your hips as you lower. If you have a block, it's nice to do a little restorative opening on your back and bridge. So lift your hips up again. Place the block. It can be either on this low height, the middle height, or maybe even on the upper height. And you want it right in your sacrum, just below your waist. So you shouldn't feel your vertebrae on the block, but just the flat part of your sacrum. And once you're here, you can stretch the legs out. Give you a nice stretch in the psoas. And just relax. Breathe deeply, using every opportunity to use the breath to create an opening. This is a passive stretch, letting gravity do the work. Your job is to set up the alignment and then relax. Again, make sure you don't flatten the neck and keep that gentle little curve. Another option here, especially if you're on the highest height of the block, you're going to really have to arch your back a little bit. But you can lift one leg up at a time and the other leg up until your feet are right balanced over your hips for a gentle inversion. It's an option. You're welcome to stop the video at any time and stay longer in a position. Otherwise, you lower your feet down. Lift the hips. Remove the block. Again, lengthen slowly through your spine. Hug your knees into your chest. Rock it out. And stretch out for Savasana. So don't skip this step. Stretch out through the legs, let the feet flop open, rotate the palms upward with the arms about 30 degrees from your sides. You can lift the chest a little bit, really tuck the shoulders underneath you. Take a big deep breath in, let it out, and enjoy your Savasana. Thank you very much. Namaste.